Hey, St. Catharines, Mayor Matt Siscoe here. And truth be told, I don't know how to introduce myself any other way on camera.
Excellent, I love that. What does the pride flag mean to you?
The pride flag means a couple of different things, and I'll admit that what it means to me has changed over the course of time. I see the pride flag now, I've always seen it as one, well, I shouldn't say that. I see it now as one that expresses love for all members of the community, and specifically members of the community that have been forced to hide who they actually are. As a younger person, I don't know if it meant that. I don't know if I actually understood what it meant for a very long time. But now it means one of love and acceptance, something that demonstrates that everybody's welcome within the community, regardless of how they live their life.
What prompted that change? This wasn't a scripted question, so I apologize for throwing you this out there, but what prompted that change? Was there something like that you can recall specifically?
So if I go back 20 years, I think I was very much kind of in the mainstream of Canadian culture and didn't really understand everything about, people fighting for LGBTQ rights. When the marriage debate came up, I started on one side of the debate, but came around to the idea that, yeah, same-sex marriage, like why are we frustrated with this? And as time's gone on, I would have described myself as a social libertarian when it came to rights for 2S LGBTQ people. Whatever you choose is fine. But I think for a time I thought, I don't understand why we need to talk about it so much, like this should just be the way.
Yes.
And over time, I've watched the struggles that people in my life have gone through, the difficulties that they've had to be able to express who they actually are. And I've realized there's a need to provide protection because of the abuse and the harassment and everything else that members of the 2S LGBTQ community face. So my feelings have changed over time. I think I have a much better understanding now of why we don't just celebrate Pride Month, and we don't just raise the flag in celebration, but we also do it as a signal to the 2S LGBTQ community that we're going to protect them. We're going to make sure that they are as welcome in our community to live their life authentically as everybody else is. So that's how the meaning of pride and the pride flag has kind of morphed over time for me.
I think that's an experience that I think a lot of people can identify with. I think when you speak to a lot of just average Canadians doing their average, like they're just existing, who haven't experienced that, I think they don't have that appreciation. But so I think what your answer highlights that turning point that a lot of people experience. So thank you for sharing that. We talked, I guess, a little bit around the edges there, but why are allies in the community, meaning St. Catharines community, important?
This is another one where I've come to understand better what allyship is supposed to mean. I think allies are important because they need to stand up with the 2S LGBTQ community and say to all those other folks who maybe had the same viewpoint that I did. I live your life, that's fine, but I don't understand why we're constantly discussing it. They need to be there to say, listen, I get where you're coming from, but understand what folks in the 2S LGBTQ community are going through and try to understand why this is important. Allies can bridge the gap. Members of the 2S LGBTQ community live it every day, and I can only imagine how frustrating it would be when you live the abuse and the harassment every day.
The micro and macro aggressions, right?
This is it. All of those pieces, it becomes very hard when you talk to people, cisgendered folks like myself, and I don't get it. And members of the broader community don't understand it. That can be very frustrating. Allies can bridge the gap. They maybe haven't experienced nearly the same level of hate and vitriol and abuse, but they've seen it, and they can help explain why it's important to celebrate and to protect and to do the things that we do.
both answers are I think, really insightful for a lot of people who hadn't considered it from that perspective. So thank you so much. I appreciate you doing this, and we are done.
Excellent.
Yeah, thank you.